I'm 401 meteorologist Kim Adams. Fog and temperatures in the 40s, but if you go just 1 hour south, it's 60 degrees. We'll talk about whether or not that can make it here coming up in the forecast.
All right, thank you, Kim. Also, first at 4, much of the country is rallying around an NFL player that collapsed on the field. We have the new statement from Damar Hamlin's family and the latest on his condition this afternoon. We're also tracking breaking news on Capitol Hill. It's a Republican rebellion as Kevin McCarthy fights to be the next Speaker of the House. And here's Rod Maloney.
Yes, the housing situation here in Michigan is changing dramatically, but more than that, people are moving out. We'll talk about why.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, much of the country is watching and waiting to see how Buffalo Bill Damar Hamlin is doing after a shocking collapse on the football field. His family has released a statement this afternoon saying in part, on behalf of our family, we want to express our sincere gratitude for the love and support shown to Damar during this challenging time. We are deeply moved by the prayers, kind words, and donations from fans around the country. Kimberly Gill joins us now to talk about where things stand right now. And Kim, this story is touching so many hearts.
It really is. Karen, good afternoon to you. Millions of people were stunned when the Buffalo Bills defensive back collapsed on the field during that game in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Happened in the first quarter after what appeared to just be a routine tackle. We're trying to be sensitive with the video we share with you right now, but the game was nationally televised on Monday Night Football. Members of both teams surrounded Hamlin as he received treatment on the field and was moved into an ambulance. The Buffalo Bills say he suffered a cardiac arrest and his heartbeat was restored on the field before he was transferred to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. Right now, Hamlin remains sedated in critical condition. Our Dr. Frank McGeorge does not know the specifics of Hamlin's case, but he does give us some perspective on how rare this problem is.
Fortunately, the vast majority of the time when you're hit in the chest, it does not lead to a potentially fatal cardiac rhythm. For a blow to the chest, whether it's from a body part or a baseball, to cause ventricular fibrillation, essentially a cardiac arrest, someone needs to be hit in a specific location in the chest with a specific force during a very, very specific part of their cardiac cycle. If all of those elements align, then it's possible for the heart to go into ventricular fibrillation.
Okay, Dr. McGeorge, thank you. And the Bills-Bengals game was suspended last night. Today, the NFL says it won't take place this week, and it hasn't made a decision on when or if that game will be finished. The wave of support, though, for Hamlin continues. Donations keep pouring into a GoFundMe charity that he set up for a toy drive. It's raised more than $4 million in the hours since his collapse. Thousands of people clearly looking for a way to show that they're rooting for Hamlin from the sidelines, including many of us right here at Local 4. Karen, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Kim. And our coverage continues at 5. Dr. Frank McGeorge is going to return to talk about who really needs to be screened for risk factors. For the most part, it is not professional athletes. Then at 6, the questions, concerns, and conversations many parents are having today after seeing what happened to Hamlin. Our continuing coverage ahead. We've got breaking news from Capitol Hill, where Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is running into some big trouble in his bid to become the next Speaker of the House. A small group of conservative Republicans refused to give him their votes during the first ballot. So McCarthy became the first Speaker nominee in 100 years to fail to win the gavel on the initial vote. Then a second ballot is being counted, and it looks like he's lost again. 19 Republicans have thrown their support behind Congressman Jim Jordan, even though he has said he does not want the job. Now, if McCarthy does prevail, he would also be second in line to become president after Vice President Kamala Harris. Right now, lawmakers remain on the floor of the U.S. Capitol. This is a live picture from Washington, D.C. Lawmakers are expecting they'll take a third vote as McCarthy has vowed to keep going, hoping he can round up the votes to grab the gavel. We'll bring you new results as they come in, and we'll have a new update for you tonight at 5. There's some breaking news in the murders of 4 students at the University of Idaho. The prime suspect in the case just waived extradition from Pennsylvania, where he was arrested, back to Idaho. This is video of Brian Kohberger's arrival at the courthouse this morning. The hearing just got underway in the past 30 minutes. As expected, Kohberger did not fight extradition. His attorney says his client is eager to be exonerated in court. Kohberger is accused of murdering 4 students who were found dead in mid-November. In Detroit today, 3 children and 1 adult were taken to the hospital after a house fire on the city's east side. The call came in just before 10 this morning. The home is on Syracuse Street near Conan and Charles. The children, ages 2, 3, and 9, were treated for smoke inhalation. They are expected to be okay. An adult woman was also treated for smoke inhalation, but her condition is unknown at this hour. Right now, the cause of the fire is under investigation. Coming up at 5, we're going to hear how a random bypasser jumped into action to save that family. In this Local 4 update, there have been 2 arrests in a case of shots fired at an undercover police officer. The Dearborn police officer was following a stolen car into the city of Detroit when those shots were fired near Roosevelt and MLK. He was tracking that car thanks to an AirTag attached to the vehicle. After the shots rang out, police surrounded a nearby home and say they found 4 guns while executing a search warrant. The officer was not injured. Prosecutors are now considering charges against the 2 suspects under arrest. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is just days into her second term, and she is getting ready for her next State of the State address. She's going to map out her proposals for the future on January 25th. This is her 5th State of the State speech. This one's going to be a little different since her Democratic Party now controls the State House and Senate. We, of course, will have live coverage of her address on Local 4 and clickondetroit.com. In your first forecast, we are tracking some showers into the evening, and it could get heavy at times. Meteorologist Kim Adams has a preview of the forewarn forecast. Kim.
Well, not just the rain, but it's the fog that's going to cause an issue with travel overnight tonight. Temperatures this afternoon only in the low 40s. Why? Well, that's because the warm front got stuck just to our south, did not make it across the border. So take a look at Lima, 63 degrees. If you go just 1 hour south, you're in the 60s. But that warm front just couldn't seem to make it up here today. We've got that easterly flow kind of preventing it from moving a little further to the north. Right now it's 62 in Columbus, 63 in Dayton, 71 in parts of central Illinois. But we just can't seem to get in on this heat. Now, tonight it may lift a little further to the north, and maybe some of our southern suburbs might get into the upper 40s to right around 50. But otherwise, the big story really going to be the visibility. Right now, down less than a half a mile in many locations, gets even thicker overnight tonight, and it will affect your morning commute. I'll have more on that in the forecast coming up.
Thank you, Kim. So, do you know anybody who moved out of Michigan in 2022? One new study shows our state has one of the highest ratios of people leaving compared to those moving in. Now, we are going to show you the top 4. New Jersey is number 1 with nearly 70% of last year's moves heading out of that state. Illinois is in second, according to the study from United Van Lines, followed by New York, and Michigan comes in 4th with more than 57% of the moves heading outbound. Business editor Rob Maloney joins us to tell us what's driving those results, and he's gathered some pretty interesting reaction. Rod.
The moving van, whether United's or the do-it-yourself variety, means big change for everyone involved. And asking Michiganders why they think people are moving out in droves provides differing answers.
It has to be the weather. It's been so gloomy, and no sun is out, and the sun always makes you feel better.
Get out of Dodge, I guess, and just try different things. That's what it comes down to. Just try new things. Don't be afraid.
That is certainly part of it. But the survey shows we're seeing baby boomers planning for their lives elsewhere. The survey shows us last year there were 3 big reasons for people moving out: to be closer to family, a job, or retirement. UCLA economist and public policy professor Dr. Michael Stoll tells us the pandemic put those plans on the front burner.
COVID accelerated, I think, many migration decisions or relocation decisions, especially for those that are older, near retirement age.
Here's the age breakdown. 18 to 34-year-olds make up 20% of those moving out. Those 55 plus make up nearly 60%, mostly from Detroit, Ann Arbor, and Kalamazoo.
For those that are relocating, there is a strong emphasis on movement from large, dense cities to smaller, medium-sized cities.
And it's a considerable brain and economic drain as well. The survey shows 70% of those leaving make more than $100,000 a year. Many with degrees in high-paying jobs, a big worry for the future, says Dr. Stoll.
Michigan loses not only brain power, but also spending money in the local economy. And it's not being replaced at the same rate. So that's a concern. And I think this has been happening with Michigan for a while. I mean, it's been 3 decades of population net loss due to migration that hasn't been replaced.
Now, Dr. Stoll told me that Michigan is not alone with this problem. He says there are a lot of baby boomers in the Midwest, and they're looking to move south to the warmer weather for their retirements. But he also says that we do have people moving into Michigan, just not nearly as many than are moving out. Reporting live in Grosse Pointe, Rod Malonick, Local 4.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Rod.